Hi everyone, I hope you are keeping safe and healthy. You're about to watch vlog 52 of season 4, which is really exciting, but I wanted to put a little message beforehand because whilst the content is really relevant because I'm talking about downsizing and getting your business through difficult times and different strategies that you can use, it was filmed in the middle of March, and when I look back at it, it's probably a little upbeat for how the world currently is. So there's comments about the busy New York streets, which really sadly, they're not busy at all. It's very quiet. There's also some tips around what you can do in your actual workplace and office, which is obviously not relevant right now for most of us around the world who have had to close our offices down. So I just wanted to say that the content's really relevant, but please excuse those that advice or comments that are really not relevant to the moment we're in right at this moment. And I just wish you all the best and your businesses all the best. Please enjoy, and I know that there's some great helpful tips. Welcome back, guys. It's vlog 52 here in Manhattan. I'm going to take a walk because I am specifically interested in how small businesses are surviving in this economic climate at the moment. And so I want to go for a walk, talk a little bit about how we deal with downsizing our businesses, what are some things we should consider, what we can do. I know it might sound like a bit of a downer of a vlog, but it's definitely not, because it's really important to talk about what do we do when things aren't quite going to plan, because that happens, right? So let's go and take a walk. It's going to look cool, and we're going to share some good content for you guys. So one thing we don't like talking about is when business doesn't go to plan. So we read so much about how do we grow, things are going awesome, everyone's raving about how their businesses are performing, and unfortunately there are times in our economy or just stuff with our business that means that it's not going to plan and we have to downsize. And I've been through this, and it's a bit of a shitty time, but it's sort of part of business, and sometimes it's within our control, sometimes not so much in our control, but we always need to be prepared for it. But there are some really interesting ways to think about it, because you can feel quite down on yourself as a business owner, depressed. I've failed, I'm not doing well, everyone else is doing better than me, and it's not the case, you know, it's just part of the journey. So I want to share with you some of the things that I think might help you in if this is sort of happening to your business right now. First thing I'll say is that this happens to the best of us, and so the first thing to do is not spend time feeling like you've failed, and realise that you're a business owner, things are not going to plan, so we need a plan of action. And one of the first things we need to think about is our resources, which is in most cases our staff. What do we do with them? So the first thing I would say about downsizing through staff, so reducing your amount of resources you have, is to not always assume that if you can't offer your employees or keep your employees in the same role at the same pay that they're currently in, that they won't stay. So what I mean by that is that there are people who would be more than happy to go part-time or even reduce their salary if it meant that they could stay working for your business, they could help you get through this time. And I have seen clients that, because they have spent time on developing their culture, in tough times they've been able to keep their employees by putting them all to 4 days or reducing salaries, and it's got them through that time, because most bad times we get through and we come out the other end, and then business picks up and we need our resources back. So if you are thinking of reducing staff, firstly consider having a conversation with your staff, tell them what's going on, and if you want to keep them, talk to them about what you potentially could offer them, because you just never know, and you'll probably be surprised that people are willing to sacrifice some of the things that they have personally to help you and be in your great business. The other thing in relation to resources that you can look at is outsourcing. So what are you currently doing that potentially could be done, that perhaps you may need not as much of? Love New York City. They're busy running around doing their thing. Outsourcing to people for just the work that you absolutely need right now, for just the amount of the time that you need right now. So that is something that we've been talking about for a long time, but there's more and more options every single day, with freelancers popping up everywhere that can do amazing things, that can help you get through this time in a cost-effective way, and also to do it really quickly, because we want to get through this tough time as quickly as possible. So outsourcing is a really good option. The other thing to think about, and it's actually quite exciting, is that this is a really good time to get creative and start to pivot your business a little bit. So what other revenue streams could you create? And there's nothing like being under stress to get your creative juices flowing. So is there something that else you could be doing that you may not have ever considered? So for example, if you've got an office with a heap of desks, could you actually lease out some of your desks to some freelancers or to some other small businesses? Could you get some revenue that way? Is there something, a skill that you have in your office that could be utilised in a completely different way? So don't just think, this is what I do, nobody's wanting this right now, I'm doomed. You have all these skills and resources and assets that you would have in your business. What else can they do? Get creative and actually enjoy that creative process, because if you're an entrepreneur, that's who you are. That comes naturally to you. This is the time to really bring that out. And I know it's hard to get excited, but use it as an opportunity. Maybe it's just time. Maybe it's time to do something new. And if we're keeping really positive, what's this opportunity creating for you, in the sense of, if you don't have as much of a client need right now, what could you be doing to push your business forward? So what are all those projects that you never get around to? And I've actually been in this situation where I've been like, oh, I don't have as much work on, I've got my marketing in place, I know it's going to come, I know that it's all going to come through in 3 months' time. So rather than sitting there and getting depressed, it's like, oh, you know what? I really wanted to create that strategy for whatever. I really want to do some recruitment, so I can spend my time on that. Lots more social media, or build up some content, whatever it may be. But you use that opportunity where you're not as busy and you're not as frantic to do those things you're always saying you want to do, but you never ever have time to, because they will benefit your business. It's still a positive investment for you, and you will need it, because remember, you're going to get through it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I know it's an incredibly difficult time for everyone in the world. Our health workers, small businesses, we're all just really struggling, and I hope for you that you're getting through. So in relation to what I've talked about today with your business, a couple of key things to remember. Talk to your employees. If you're thinking you're going to have to lay off staff, have a chat to them, see what else you can do. You never know what together you might be able to come up with. I know the word pivot is just being thrown around everywhere and being overused, but we do have to do that right now. But remember that this isn't going to last forever. So if you had a strong business beforehand, you can have a strong business after. You don't have to change everything, but do what you can to get through. And making the most of the time. Look, this can be a time for some to do those projects that you've been wanting to do for ages, get on top of things. I've got other peers and business owners that have said, you know what, I'm just going to use the time to rest. I need a rest. And for me, I'm trying to juggle 3 kids now at home, doing homeschooling and keep the businesses running. There's not really that much time for rest, but there's a lot of time for reflection. So use the time for whatever serves you. I honestly think that entrepreneurs are built for times like this. This is our life, dealing with the unexpected and dealing with things that seem impossible. If anyone can get through this, it's a small business owner, it's an entrepreneur. We're the ones with the grit and the resilience, and We will get through it. We are getting through it. And I just wish you all so much love, so much positivity, so much gratitude. And I can't wait to get back filming out on the streets with Train. I miss him. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know when that's going to be, but in the meantime, I'm putting up lots and lots of tips and resources on the channel under small business tips, how to get through COVID-19. So there's heaps of content coming your way, just not the Unconventional Life vlog, but that will be back as soon as it's safe to do so. Wishing you all the love. Thanks again. Mwah.